Man rescues canine. German Shepherd from deadly python. What happens next is shocking. The sun was barely rising over the dense Florida Everglades when Adam Parker, a 36-year-old wildlife biologist, heard the frantic barking echoing through the swamp. At first, he thought it was just another stray dog caught in the wetlands. But as he got closer, pushing through the thick underbrush, his heart stopped. There, tangled in the coils of a massive Burmese python, was a fully grown canine German Shepherd, its eyes wide with terror, its body struggling for air. The snake's powerful muscles squeezed tighter with every second, and the dog's hafsy grew weaker. Adam didn't hesitate. Dropping his gear, he threw himself into the mud, prying at the snake's thick, scaly body with bare hands, fighting with everything he had. The shepherd's desperate eyes locked onto his, as if silently pleading for help. What happened in the next 60 seconds would change both of their lives forever. Because what Adam didn't know was that this wasn't just any dog. This was a retired police canine, trained, disciplined, and abandoned after years of service. And this rescue was only the beginning of a story filled with trust, healing, and an unexpected twist that would leave everyone speechless. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and turn on notifications. This helps us bring more inspiring and emotional animal rescue stories like this one straight to you. Adam Parker's hands trembled as he dug his fingers into the python's muscular coils. The swamp water splashed around him, and the smell of wet earth and fear filled the air. The canine German Shepherd's legs kicked weakly, its muzzle opening in silent gasps as the snake's grip tightened around its ribs and neck. "Hang in there, buddy," Adam muttered through clenched teeth. The python hissed, shifting its weight as it sensed Adam's interference. Its thick, scaly body tightened with alarming strength, threatening both the dog's life and Adam's safety. Adam grabbed a nearby branch, jamming it between the coils, trying to create space. The snake responded violently, whipping its body toward him. A powerful strike grazed Adam's arm, leaving a long, burning scrape. Adrenaline surged through Adam's veins. He had worked with wildlife for years, but never had he been this close to death, not like this. With a roar of determination, Adam repositioned himself, wrapping both hands around the python's thick midsection. Using every ounce of his strength, he pulled backward, forcing the snake to loosen its grip just enough. The shepherd gasped, coughing violently as air rushed back into its lungs. "Come on, breathe," Adam shouted. The dog wheezed, then let out a weak, hoarse bark. That sound pushed Adam into overdrive. With one final burst of energy, he yanked the snake away from the dog's body. The python writhed in fury, snapping toward him again, but Adam didn't stop. He shoved the serpent away with everything he had, sending it slithering into the undergrowth with a violent splash. Breathing heavily, Adam collapsed onto the muddy ground beside the dog. For a few seconds, neither moved. Just the sound of distant birds and the rustling of leaves in the morning air. Then, the shepherd shifted. Its chest rose and fell erratically, but it was breathing. Its eyes, deep brown and filled with pain, slowly focused on Adam. "Hey, you're okay now," Adam said softly, reaching out. The dog flinched at first, but didn't pull away. Its body trembled with exhaustion and trauma. Adam quickly inspected for injuries. Bite marks, deep bruises around the torso and neck, but no broken bones that he could feel. "You're lucky I found you," he whispered. The dog's collar caught his attention. Worn, muddy, but still intact. A faded metal tag dangled from it. Adam wiped off the grime and read the inscription. Canine Unit, Miami-Dade PD. His heart skipped a beat. A police dog? What was a trained canine doing out here? Alone, with no handler in sight. Adam glanced around the swamp, scanning for signs of other people. Nothing. Just endless water, trees, and silence. Who left you out here? He pulled out his phone, but as expected, there was no signal this deep in the Everglades. Adam knew he couldn't leave the dog here, not after what it had just survived. Gently, he slid his arms under the shepherd's body and lifted it. The dog whimpered but didn't resist. "It's all right, buddy. You're coming with me." With slow, careful steps, Adam carried the dog through the swamp, back toward the dirt road where his old pickup truck waited. Every few feet, the dog's breathing grew steadier, though its eyes remained teed and distant. Finally reaching the truck, Adam placed the shepherd on the back seat, laying down an old blanket to cushion him. "I'll get you help," Adam promised, starting the engine. As he drove toward the nearest animal clinic, his mind raced with questions. Who abandoned a police dog in the middle of nowhere? Why? And what had this poor animal been through before nearly dying in the grip of that python? As the truck bumped along the dirt road, the shepherd's head rested weakly on the seat. But just before Adam pulled onto the main highway, the dog opened its eyes and fixed a long, steady ease on him. In that single look, Adam felt it, a silent bond, like the beginning of something neither of them could yet understand. And neither of them knew. The real battle was only beginning. The small veterinary clinic sat at the edge of town, its faded sign barely visible through the morning fog. Adam pulled into the gravel parking lot, tires crunching underneath him. As he opened the truck door, the German shepherd let out a low, painful whine. "Easy, buddy," Adam said softly, kneeling beside him. "We're here." With careful movements, Adam lifted the dog again, cradling the heavy, limp body against his chest. The shepherd didn't fight him, but Adam could feel the tension in every muscle. The fear, the exhaustion, the pain. Inside the clinic, the smell of antiseptic filled the air. A bell chimed as Adam pushed through the door. The receptionist, a young woman named Megan, looked up from her desk. Her eyes widened when she saw the state of the dog in Adam's arms. "Oh my God," she gasped. "What happened?" "Python attack," Adam said quickly. "I found him out by the Everglades. He's a K9 unit, Miami-Dade PD, but there's no handler, no ID beyond this collar." Megan was already waving for the vet. "Dr. Lopez, emergency." Within seconds, Dr. Anna Lopez, a petite woman with dark hair pulled into a tight bun, rushed from the back room, pulling on gloves. "Bring him in," she ordered. Adam followed her to the exam room, laying the shepherd gently on the metal table. Dr. Lopez's Vaughns moved swiftly, checking pulse, breathing, and wounds. "He's lucky," she murmured. "If you hadn't gotten to him when you did, he wouldn't have lasted another 10 minutes. Hearing those words, Adam felt a knot tighten in his chest. "Will he make it?" Dr. Lopez nodded. "I'll start IV fluids and pain meds. We'll get some x-rays, check for internal injuries." Adam stood back, watching as the team worked. The shepherd's sides rose and fell slowly, but there was life there, faint, but fighting. After an hour, Dr. Lopez returned to the waiting area where Adam sat, still covered in swamp mud and dried blood. "He's stable, for now," she said. "Some bruised ribs, but no fractures. A few deep punctures from the snake's teeth, but nothing we can't treat." Adam exhaled in relief. "But," she continued, her tone shifting, "there's something else." Adam sat up straighter. "What?" "We scanned the microchip." She handed him a printout. "This dog's name is Rocco, registered as a K9 with the Miami-Dade Police Department, but according to their system, he was retired 6 months ago." Adam frowned. Retired? Why was he out there alone? That's the thing. Dr. Lopez said, lowering her voice. The department marked him as rehomed T. But there's no adoption record, no address, no current owner. Adam stared at the paper, confusion twisting in his gut. So, what? He was dumped? Dr. Lopez hesitated before answering. It happens more than people realize. Some departments, when dogs are no longer useful, well, let's just say not every handler does the right thing. Adam felt a surge of anger rise inside him. How could anyone, especially someone trusted with this dog's loyalty, just abandon him like that? Standing, he grabbed his jacket. Can I see him? Dr. Lopez nodded. But only for a minute. He needs rest. Adam stepped quietly into the recovery room. Rocco lay on a soft blanket, an IV taped to his front leg. His eyes opened slowly as Adam entered. They weren't the scared eyes from earlier. They were tired, but watchful. Hey, partner, Adam said softly, crouching beside him. Looks like you've been through hell. Rocco's tail gave the faintest wag, a small broken gesture, but it made Adam smile. I don't know who left you out there, Adam continued, voice low, but I promise, you're not alone anymore. Rocco blinked, closing his eyes as if finally surrendering to sleep. As Adam left the room, he paused at the door, already knowing what he had to do next. He was going to find out exactly who abandoned this dog. And why? Because saving Rocco's life today was just the beginning of something much bigger. Later that afternoon, Adam sat at his small kitchen table, staring at his laptop screen. His modest home just outside the Everglades was usually a place of peace, but today it felt charged with restless energy. A hot mug of coffee sat untouched beside him as he scrolled through public police records, trying to piece together Rocco's story. The Miami-Dade Police Department's K-9 division was large, with dozens of handlers and dogs in active service and retirement. But information on individual K-9s was limited, especially retired ones. Most of the pages he pulled up were filled with bureaucratic jargon, officer commendations, and outdated photos. Adam typed in Rocco's badge number, cross-referencing it with archived news articles. That's when he found it. A grainy photo showed Rocco standing proudly beside a young officer during a drug bust 2 years ago. The caption read, Officer Tyler Graves and K-9 Rocco credited with largest narcotics seizure in district history. Adam leaned closer. Tyler Graves. That name sounded familiar. Scrolling further, Adam found another article. This one more recent. Local officer placed on administrative leave following misconduct investigation. The photo showed Tyler again, but this time, he looked different, thinner, tired, his uniform unbuttoned at the collar, dark circles under his eyes. Adam's gut twisted. Was there a connection? Without hesitation, Adam picked up his phone and called the number for the Miami-Dade K-9 unit's front desk. A gruff voice answered. Sergeant Ruiz speaking. Adam cleared his throat. Hi, my name's Adam Parker. I'm a wildlife biologist out near the Everglades. I found one of your retired K-9s, Rocco. He was attacked by a python this morning. Silence. Then, a surprised exhale. Rocco? Ruiz repeated. That dog's been off our radar for months. Where did you say you found him? Adam explained the situation quickly, keeping details factual but urgent. After a pause, Ruiz said, Listen, this isn't something I can discuss over the phone. If you're serious about this, come down to the station tomorrow morning. Ask for me personally. Adam agreed, jotting down the address. That night, sleep didn't come easily. His mind kept circling back to Rocco, still recovering at the clinic, and the mystery surrounding Tyler Graves. Something felt off. The next morning, Adam arrived at the station just after 8. The building smelled like coffee and floor cleaner, and the waiting area buzzed with officers coming and going. When he gave his name, a young officer led him back to a small office where Sergeant Ruiz waited. Ruiz was a broad-shouldered man with graying hair and a stern expression. He motioned for Adam to sit. "All right," Ruiz began, folding his hands on the desk. "First, thank you for saving Rocco. That dog gave us everything he had for years." Adam nodded. "He deserves better than what happened to him." Ruiz let out a slow sigh. "You're right. But the truth is, things got complicated. After Rocco retired, Officer Graves was supposed to adopt him. Standard procedure for retired canines. But around that same time, Tyler's life started falling apart." Adam frowned. "Because of the misconduct case?" Ruiz nodded. "Internal Affairs started an investigation. Allegations of evidence tampering. Nothing proven. But it hit him hard. His marriage fell apart. He started drinking. He stopped showing up for shifts." "And Rocco?" Adam asked. Ruiz's face darkened. "We thought Tyler had kept him. Said he was fine, but now I'm not so sure." Adam's stomach churned. "So no one checked? No welfare visits?" "We had bigger fires to put out," Ruiz admitted, guilt flashing in his eyes. "Resources stretched thin." Adam stood, unable to hide his frustration. "Well, your oversight almost got that dog killed." Ruiz nodded gravely. "You're right." Before Adam left, Ruiz handed him a piece of paper. Tyler's last known address. If you're really determined to get answers, start there. As Adam walked out of the station, the Florida sun burned hot against his skin. He climbed into his truck, looking at the crumpled paper in his hand. He didn't know what he'd find at that address, but one thing was certain. He owed it to Rocco. To find out. The address led Adam to a rundown neighborhood on the outskirts of Miami. The streets were lined with neglected yards, peeling paint on front porches, and cars that hadn't moved in months. As Adam pulled up to the small one-story house, he noticed that half the front lawn was overgrown, while the other half was scorched dry from the Florida sun. Adam climbed out of his truck and walked up the cracked concrete steps. The front door hung slightly off its hinges, and the blinds inside the windows were drawn tight. He knocked twice. No answer. He knocked again, louder this time. "Tyler Graves? Are you home?" After a long pause, the door creaked open just an inch. A pale face appeared in the gap, eyes bloodshot, cheeks hollow. Tyler Graves stood there, wearing a wrinkled t-shirt and jeans that hung loose around his waist. His beard was patchy, and his once fit frame had clearly withered. "What do you want?" Tyler's voice was hoarse, like someone who hadn't spoken to another human in days. Adam kept his tone steady. "I'm here about Rocco." At the mention of the name, Tyler's eyes widened. For a brief second, raw emotion flashed across his face, something between guilt, pain, and disbelief. "Rocco?" he repeated, almost like he didn't believe the word coming out of his own mouth. Adam nodded. "I found him yesterday. He was out in the Everglades, wrapped in a python, barely alive." Tyler's shoulders sagged against the doorframe. His breath hitched like he'd been punched in the gut. Is he dead?" Tyler asked, his voice cracking. "No," Adam said firmly. "He's alive. Thanks to pure luck and a little intervention." Tyler leaned his head against the door, closing his eyes. I never meant for..." His voice trailed off. Adam took a step closer. "Look, I don't know the whole story, but you need to explain something to me. How does a retired canine end up abandoned in the middle of a swamp?" For a long moment, Tyler stayed silent. Then, slowly, he opened the door wider and motioned for Adam to come in. The inside of the house was worse than Adam expected. Empty beer bottles lined the coffee table. Ashtrays overflowed. The air smelled of stale alcohol and sweat. On the far wall hung a dusty photo of Tyler and Rocco in their prime, both standing during a police award ceremony. Tyler collapsed onto the worn-out couch, burying his face in his hands. "It all happened fast," he finally said. "After the investigation started, everything fell apart. They suspended me without pay. My wife left. Bills piled up. I lost the house. Ended up here." Adam listened in silence. "I couldn't feed him," Tyler continued, voice trembling. I tried. But every time I looked at him, it just reminded me of everything I'd lost. I couldn't afford the vet bills, the food. Even walking him felt like another failure." "So you dumped him in the Everglades?" Adam asked, the anger rising in his throat. Tyler shook his head violently. "No, I swear. I was driving him to a friend's place outside of town, someone who said they could help. But on the way, I had a panic attack. I pulled over. I opened the door. And he just ran." Adam clenched his fists. "So you left him there, alone?" Tyler's eyes filled with tears. "I told myself I'd go back, but I never did." The room fell silent. For a moment, Adam wanted to yell at him, to tell him what could have happened, what almost did happen. But seeing the broken man in front of him, Adam knew the punishment Tyler lived with was already deeper than anything he could say. After a long pause, Adam stood. "Rocco's at the clinic," he said. "Fighting to stay alive. Thought you should know." As Adam turned to leave, Tyler called out, voice shaking, Can I see him?" Adam paused at the door, considering. "Maybe," he said finally. "But first, you need to get your life together." Without waiting for a reply, Adam walked out, climbed back into his truck, and drove off. The sun was starting to set, casting long shadows across the streets. Back at the clinic, Rocco was waiting. And Adam knew their story was far from over. The following morning, Adam arrived at the clinic just as the sun cast golden rays across the parking lot. The air smelled of dew and freshly cut grass, but Adam's heart felt heavy with everything he'd learned the day before. Inside, Megan greeted him with a smile. "You're just in time. Rocco's awake, and he has been asking for you in his own way." Adam chuckled softly. "Barking at everyone?" "Growling, mostly," she teased. "But I think that's his way of saying he's feeling better." Adam made his way back to the recovery room, his boots echoing softly on the tiled floor. When he stepped inside, Rocco was sitting up for the first time, his head tilted, ears perked slightly despite the bandages still wrapped around his torso and neck. "Well, look at you," Adam said warmly. Rocco's tail thumped against the blanket, slow but steady. Adam crouched beside him, running a gentle hand over his head. "You're tougher than I thought, buddy." Dr. Lopez entered moments later holding a clipboard. "His vitals are improving," she said. "He's still sore, but he's responding well to treatment." "That's good news," Adam replied. "Any chance he's strong enough for a visitor?" Lopez raised an eyebrow. "Visitor?" Adam explained about Tyler, the condition he'd found him in, the guilt, the regret. Lopez hesitated. "I don't want to stress the dog, but it might help." Adam pulled out his phone and sent a short text to the number Tyler had scribbled for him before he left. "If you want to see him, come now." Less than 30 minutes later, Tyler arrived. He stood just inside the doorway, shifting uncomfortably, hat pulled low over his eyes. His clothes were cleaner than yesterday, but his appearance still carried the weight of too many bad days. When Rocco saw him, something changed. The dog froze, staring, ears up, eyes locked on his former handler. For a moment, neither moved. Then Rocco gave a low, confused whimper. Tyler stepped forward, dropping to his knees beside the bed. "Hey, boy." "It's me," Tyler whispered, voice cracking. "I'm so sorry." Slowly, Rocco stretched his neck forward, sniffing Tyler's hand. There was hesitation. Then recognition. With a soft whine, Rocco rested his head against Tyler's palm. Adam watched the scene unfold, his throat tightening. Even after everything, the bond between them hadn't fully broken. But just as Tyler leaned in closer, Rocco pulled back slightly, his eyes shifting toward Adam, as if unsure who he belonged to now. Tyler noticed. I guess he trusts you now," Tyler said quietly, giving a bitter smile. "Maybe more than me." Adam didn't respond right away. Finally, he spoke. "This isn't about trust, Tyler. It's about doing right by him now, moving forward." Tyler nodded, eyes wet. "I want to fix this, if I can." Dr. Lopez cleared her throat gently. "Rocco's going to need weeks of care, physical therapy, and someone who won't disappear on him again." Tyler swallowed hard. "I know." Adam stood, placing a hand on Tyler's shoulder. "This isn't a one-time visit. If you're serious, you're going to have to prove it, day after day." "I will," Tyler said, determination flickering in his voice. Before leaving, Tyler leaned down and whispered something only Rocco could hear. The dog's tail moved just a little faster. That afternoon, as Adam drove home, he felt something shift inside him. He hadn't planned for any of this. Rescuing Rocco had been a spur-of-the-moment decision, but now it felt like a turning point for everyone involved: Rocco, Tyler, even himself. Because sometimes, life had a way of throwing people and dogs into each other's paths for a reason. And this time, none of them were walking away. The days that followed were filled with small victories and difficult moments. Every morning, Adam drove to the clinic to check on Rocco, often finding Tyler already there, sitting quietly beside the recovery cage. Sometimes Tyler spoke to Rocco in soft, apologetic tones. Other times, he just sat in silence, running his hand along the dog's back like he was trying to rebuild something that had crumbled long ago. Rocco remained cautious. He accepted Tyler's presence, but there was a hesitation in his eyes every time his former handler reached out. Trust, once broken, wasn't easy to reclaim. One afternoon, as Adam arrived with a bag of special dog treats, he found Tyler pacing outside the clinic, looking anxious. "I don't think he'll ever forgive me," Tyler said as soon as Adam stepped out of the truck. Adam handed him the treats. "That's not how it works. Dogs, they don't hold grudges like people do. But they remember, good and bad." Tyler nodded, staring at the ground. "I've made mistakes, Adam. Big ones. Not just with Rocco, with everything." Adam studied him for a moment. "You know what I see? A guy who's showing up every single day. That counts for something." That afternoon, Dr. Lopez called both men into her office. "I've been thinking about Rocco's long-term care," she began, folding her hands on the desk. "Given his history and the trauma he's been through, he's going to need a stable environment, someone patient, consistent." Tyler straightened in his chair. "I want to take him home." Lopez's expression tightened. "With all due respect, Officer Graves, I'm not convinced your home is the right place for him right now." Tyler's face fell. Adam cleared his throat. What if We do something different. Let him spend time with both of us. Both Lopez and Tyler looked at him, surprised. I live just outside the Everglades, Adam continued. Plenty of space, quiet, and Tyler can come by, help with training, rebuilding trust, supervised. Tyler's eyes lit with cautious hope. You'd do that? Adam shrugged. I'm already invested in this dog's life. Might as well see it through. Lopez tapped her pen on the desk. It's unconventional, but given the circumstances, it might work. That weekend, Adam brought Rocco home. The ride from the clinic was quiet. Rocco sat in the back seat, eyes alert but calm, occasionally glancing toward Adam like he was still trying to figure him out. At the house, Adam carried him inside, laying him on a soft dog bed near the living room window. Rocco sniffed the air, ears flicking at every new sound, the distant croak of frogs, the rustle of palm leaves outside. This is home for now, Adam said softly, sitting on the floor beside him. Over the next few days, Tyler visited every morning. At first, Rocco remained distant, watching him carefully. But slowly, he began to inch closer, accepting a treat here, a gentle scratch behind the ears there. One afternoon, as Tyler knelt beside him, Rocco did something unexpected. He placed his paw on Tyler's knee. Both men froze. For Tyler, it was the first sign of forgiveness. For Adam, it was a reminder of why he'd fought so hard to save this dog in the first place. Later that evening, as the sun set behind the cypress trees, Adam sat on his porch, watching Rocco rest peacefully on the grass. Tyler, sitting a few feet away, quietly tossing a stick back and forth in his hands. Adam smiled to himself. This wasn't the ending he'd expected when he pulled that dog from the python's grip. But maybe it was the beginning of something better. And deep down, he knew one thing for sure. None of them would ever be the same again. 2 weeks later, Rocco was running again. Not far, just small sprints across Adam's backyard. But each step was stronger than the last. His eyes had life again. His tail wagged with energy. That morning, as Tyler arrived, something new happened. When Tyler stepped out of his car, Rocco didn't hesitate. He bolted toward him, full speed, jumping up to meet him halfway. For the first time, no fear, no hesitation, just pure joy. Tyler dropped to his knees, wrapping his arms around Rocco's neck, holding him tight. I missed you, boy, Tyler whispered, his voice breaking. Adam stood by the porch, watching the reunion with a smile. No more guilt, no more what-ifs, just two partners, finding their way back to each other. And a stranger who had become family. If this story touched your heart, remember, no matter how far life pulls us apart, loyalty and love have a way of bringing us back together. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share this video with someone who believes in second chances and the unbreakable bond between humans and their dogs.